tier list time, everybody.
Yes.
Now, people love Star Wars. They always have and they always will.
And everybody does and everybody always will.
That's right. But there's really two, well, not really two, but let's just say there's two distinct eras of Star Wars. There's the George Lucas era, and then he sold it off, and there's the current Disney era.
Which everybody likes?
Which everybody likes.
That's what I thought, yeah.
So what I would like to do is go back in time a little bit and make sure everybody leaves a like on this video. And while I'm there and knocking about, I want to go through all the George Lucas Star Wars canon stuff.
Okay.
And put it all on a tier list. This is going to be in a rough chronological order, and it's not just the movies, because there's some other things that he's had a hand in.
Okay.
Some more than others, and some we're going to miss.
Yep.
But that's okay.
Are we going to include Jar Jar Binks lollipops and it's his tongue?
We're going to steer away from merch.
Okay.
But we're going to be doing some books and video games and stuff.
Okay,
though,
all right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so non-edible merch.
Non-edible merch. Okay, exactly.
Fine.
Well, technically all merch is edible, Mason.
That's true if you believe in yourself.
Fuck. All right, let's start with this, the original, and let's say the best. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Where do you rank Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope?
Towards the top.
Yeah? Would you put it in as an A or an S?
Now, I feel like this is a trick. You've got a cheeky smile on your face to indicate that you're trying to trick me somehow.
No, I'm just thinking about how people will react.
Because the next one is Empire Strikes Back, and generally speaking, people are like, this is they can both be an S.
For different reasons.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Empire Strikes Back gets an S.
Yep.
Because it's, it is...
Because it's stupid.
It is stupid, but it's the perfect example of, action and humor and big ideas and
romance,
but the first one gets an S because Luke and Leia kiss.
Yeah, man. Wait, that wasn't in the first one.
Wasn't it?
That was in The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, then that gets a double S. We're starting a new category.
Super smooching.
That's right, for sibling smooches.
Okay, so you're saying, well, I had some stuff in between, but we're going to put both Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back in S.
Wait a second, that's a clear error, isn't it?
Why?
Because the first movie and it's Episode 4 and
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, you're right. Should we bump it down?
We should bump it down to a C, I reckon.
Okay.
Bump them both down to a C. For some sort of obvious chronological. They should have picked that up.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
If Lucas didn't pick it up, I reckon the editor should have picked it up. His wife,
Yeah.
Mrs. Lucas.
Marsha Lucas.
Marsha
Yes,
Lucas, she
that's
should have
right.
picked it up. Anyway, C for both of those.
Okay, done.
We're removing category SS. That's going. I feel that's a little bit problematic.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right, let's go between episodes 4 and 5. We're going to talk about the Star Wars Holiday Special. And the reason I'm putting this in here is because the initial outline of it being a family of Wookiees and all of that and special Star Wars Christmas, that was George Lucas's idea. Now, obviously, that was taken by the network and ruined, or some say improved. But I still say that the core idea, it is Lucas's, so we're gonna rank it.
Okay.
It's so dreadful. It's an F.
Yeah, have you seen it, folks? Have you seen it out there?
It's like, haha, funny and all of those things and whatever. But it's also a difficult watch because it's quite boring.
It's also, it's got some interesting segments. There's that Hunter S. Thompson Steadman. It's very Ralph Steadman kind of Boba Fett.
I can feel an E approaching.
Yeah,
Mason.
I know, right? It's a little bit,
right.
little bit Yellow Submarine. That was a bit wacky. Isn't there a bit where just a lady lounge singer comes out and sings to
a guy in a VR helmet?
Yes.
Yeah, these are all true things. All right, it's an E.
That's right.
Wow. And Boba Fett, you know?
We've got to save room in F for something real bad.
Exactly.
Or something we can just put in there to upset people.
Yeah, that's right. Splinter of the Mind's Eye. You familiar with this? We've actually covered the comic on a video.
Yes. Now this, I read the novel back in the day.
Yeah.
It's also probably been in comic form. It's some
both,
point.
yes.
So this was intended to be a sequel to Star Wars if they couldn't get the budget to.
Yep. It's an Alan Dean Foster. So basically, George Lucas said, "This is my rough idea for a sequel. If I can't do a big budget one, there's no Harrison Ford.
Yes.
It's Luke and Leia stranded on a weird mud planet."
They just do kissing.
Yes, and there's a moment where Darth Vader cuts his own arm off or gets his arm cut off at the end, and then he trips on the arm and he falls down a pit. What I like about this is it's the early days of figuring out what this universe even is. Like all of this stuff and most of this canon stuff until something we get to has been wiped away, like the early Marvel comics and all of that and a few of the animated series. So this is kind of like, this is what's Star Wars and there's a magic crystal that enhances the Force and whatever.
Yeah. Because it was more about magic. It was less about midichlorians at this point.
That's right. I think it's a B, but it's probably not a B, but it's a B for me.
I mean, it's worse than New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, so it's a D.
Okay, fair enough.
Or it's a B?
Let's say a B.
Okay, great.
It's a B.
Okay. Should we move the New Hope and Empire Strikes Back up?
Well, maybe we'll move it back up when we get to episode 1 and realize it was the plan all along.
Terrific.
Or we just do it now?
Yes, do it now.
Bump it up.
Bump it up. It's back up.
Okay, here we go. Star Wars Episode 6, Rotj. How do you feel about this?
I mean, that last word is nonsense. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to lose points for that, isn't it? What were they trying to say there?
Who knows? The noise that Jabba the Hutt makes.
Oh.
It dips in the middle. I think the beginning and the end are fantastic.
Yep.
And it's not just the Ewok stuff. I feel like it kind of loses a bit of focus and that in the middle. I still love it. I think it's great. I think it's still an A.
All right.
At minimum.
Right.
What do you think?
Yes.
All right.
Agree with you.
All righty.
A for agree.
A for agree with me. Here we go.
No, agree with you.
Agree with me. Here we go. Got some more movies. Some of them went to cinemas. They mostly didn't. They were made for telly. It's the Ewok movies. 2 of them.
Okay. Have we seen those? Have you seen those?
I have seen them, yes.
I think when I was a kid, I had an Ewok storybook, and it was like the book, and it had like a tape or
Turn
a
the
record or
page,
something.
idiot.
Turn the page, idiot.
You will know it's time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this.
These are bad, but I don't hate them. I like Gorax.
What was that again?
He's a big monster who kidnapped the parents. And then the next movie, the parents get killed by marauders or something. It's also our flagship series, Caravan of Garbage.
That's true.
This is B tier and compared to that, obviously, this series. It's named after Caravan of Courage.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
You named it.
Yeah, but it was just a random combination of words. I didn't think it would take off.
I think it's probably a D.
Yeah,
it's above the holiday special, but I think there is a big gap between these two things.
Is it even better than the holiday special?
Yeah,
The
definitely.
holiday special's a big swing, you know.
Yeah, so's this, sort of. There's stop motion in it.
Oh.
There's some interesting stuff for telly. And the principle
It doesn't have Chewbacca's dad looking at a weird hologram porno
No, it
of an
doesn't.
Earth woman.
No.
But
no.
fine, put it wherever you want.
Okay, fine. Now we're going into some expanded media. Now, we do know that George Lucas has officially said that, like, I don't care about the expanded universe and anything that I want to write over, I will.
Is that what he said? I don't care about it?
Yeah, he doesn't
That's
care
brutal.
at all. Yeah, well, that's the world.
It's brutal, and that is a trend that should continue.
Well, they have. They wiped it all out.
Yeah, I get it. That's true.
Yeah.
They should be like, we're making the movie like this, and we don't care if you don't like it.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that came out in 1991. One was the Thrawn trilogy. George Lucas didn't have a huge hand in this, but he did greenlight it, and some of the concepts he did kind of agree to. Like, initially it was going to be a clone of Obi-Wan Kenobi who Luke meets with, and then it's a
Clone
of-
B1, Kenobi.
Yeah, and then it's a...
Clone. No, we'll get this right. Clone B1, Clone B.
Yep, perfect.
Nice.
And then George Lucas made them change it to a clone of like a twisted Jedi guy or whatever.
Is that what that guy is?
Yeah, he's like a
What's it? Thrawn?
Jorah Cyboth or whatever.
Oh, I think
It
you
also
should've-
introduced Thrawn. I think these are great. I think these are at the least A tier. Though it is really a Timothy Zahn project. It was the start of before they made 1 million books.
Yes,
So I think
right,
that means something.
Okay. Oh, it should have been a clone of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-2 Kenobi. Better than what you said. Is this an S?
I don't know.
Have you not read them? They're
I-
really good.
I mean, like in the 90s.
I think it's an S.
Okay,
I'm
then,
putting them in
fine.
S.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. And what about this? Then you got the Dark Empire comic series, which we've also done a video on, where the Emperor comes back and he's like, I'm here again. Yeah. And the hand that George Lucas had in this was, the initial idea for the bad guy was that somebody shows up in the Darth Vader armor and it's like, boo, I'm Darth Vader.
Sure, okay.
But George Lucas was like, no. And then
He
they
wouldn't say that. He wouldn't say, boo, I'm Darth Vader. He'd say, boo, who do you think I am?
you tell me.
You tell me.
And then they said, well, can we make it a clone of Palpatine? He went, yeah, sure. Yeah. So that's George Lucas' involvement in this. I think it's an A. I like these. Or the first story.
Okay.
They're the kind of diminishing returns.
I
but,
trust your judgment on some level.
Okay, there we go. Now, during the 90s, of course, and speaking of got a video on that, we've got a video on this. Shadows of the Empire was this huge multimedia project which aimed to put something out as a video game, a comic, a novel. It was launching a movie, but there was no movie.
And you would say that this has sort of contributed to the long-term success of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it kept Star Wars in the mind's eye.
Splinter
in their mind's eye.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love all things Shadow of the Empire. I particularly like the book. I think the game is like okay.
What's the standout thing or character or event or big ship or whatever that people read this and watch this and play this? Sheezor. He's the green guy, right?
Dash Rendar.
Dash Rendar.
Flying on Hoth. You get to fly around on Hoth.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right.
I think it's nearly an A, but I would say it's an S because I don't think it's perfect. I think the comic series...
It's nearly an A, but it's an S?
No, the other way. No, I think it's an A.
Uh-huh.
I think the comic makes the mistake of trying to retell the novel when it could have told the story of like Boba Fett trying to bring Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt, and it does a little bit of that, but it does kind of a watered down version of the events. Because the idea was to also focus on different things, and it sort of does and it sort of doesn't.
Okay.
I think it's an
Well, it's
A.
that wishy-washiness that gives it a firm A.
That's all right.
It sounds wishy-washy and it doesn't know what it wants to be.
Yep.
And it cost a ton of money, so let's give it an A.
Yeah, man, let's give it an
Yeah.
A. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom
I don't like
Menace.
that movie. It's a bad movie, I think. Stop it with your revisionist history.
I think it's
Stop it.
I think it's a C.
Okay. Well, I think it's easily an E. So can we come
do
to
a D?
consensus and put it in D?
Okay, fair enough.
We've got a video on it.
We do.
I don't like it.
All of these. Oh, no, I'm well aware. I think it's a fascinating effort. But it's not a great movie. And,
Well, we're giving it a D for Defert then.
also, it brought technology forward so far in filmmaking. And
Well, so does war, James. War brings technology forward as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you love war?
No, you got me. That's not a good thing.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's jump ahead a little bit then. I guess that's all the time we're spending on The Phantom Menace. We got a video
right,
on it.
yeah.
And the next two movies. Star Wars Episode 2, The Attack of the Clone Wars.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I just can't with this one. Like,
Really?
I
Even more so
find
than the
it-
previous one?
Yeah, I find it exhausting. There's things in it where I'm like, oh, Obi-Wan doing detective work. This should be good. Also, it fucking looks horrible. It's a horrible looking movie. I don't like it. I just, everything about it is just like,
Hello, what do you do at this planet? Oh, we're making those clone soldiers for you. You're the guy we made all the clone soldiers for? Yes.
but it's probably on the same level. I would even say it's a D also. But I don't like it as much as The Phantom Menace.
Oh, Defa don't like it as much as the
Yeah,
Phantom
it's a
Menace.
real
Okay.
chore. And even like the Yoda fight, I don't like. I like the intrigue of it. Like, I like the idea of like Qui-Gon's master has gone rogue and is leading
Yeah.
like a separatist militant group against the Galactic Republic, but that's headed up by another maniac.
You know why I hate Attack
They
of the
also
Clones?
don't answer
You know why I
anything.
hated Attack of the Clones more than anything? It's when Christopher Lee delivers that line where he goes, "Oh, well, you seem equally matched. I suppose we'll have to battle with the lightsabers." Just do the lightsabers. We get it.
Don't you remember-
We can see, this is a visual medium. We can see they're equally matched with the Force or whatever.
Don't you remember the bit when in Return of the Jedi where Darth Vader goes, "Hey, I see we're equally matched with lightsabers." I mean, or whatever. We got the Force. We got the same amount of. If you got a minute, do you want to do a lightsaber fight with me in front of the Emperor?
Well, if we can impress the Emperor, I suppose we could do that. Yeah.
D for don't like it. Now, in between that and Revenge of the Sith is the Clone Wars animated micro series from 2003, which George Lucas did sort of had a hand in. He went, I don't want to do Clone Wars. Could you do show the Clone Wars? And they did.
Yes.
It was again retconned later. I think this is amazing. I love them.
I think it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, I didn't see it till years later, but
Yeah.
it's. It's frenetic. It's chaotic.
Yep.
It was meant for people with very short attention spans because originally it was like a series of 3-minute shorts.
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
right. Yeah. I want to say yes, but it's probably an A. I
Yeah.
think
It's not as good as Empire Strikes Back.
No, it's not as good as Empire Strikes Back, the movie. Next up, we've got Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which people say is the good one. It's the one they definitively like because it's the one where two men scream at each other. And they go, my feelings are this. And the other guy goes, well, my feelings are this. Do you want to do a big lightsaber fight for the Emperor, in front of the Emperor? He's not here, but we can tell him about it later. It's certainly not perfect.
No.
But I think it's a...
Some would say a bad movie.
yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I would say it's entertaining.
Okay, yeah.
And it doesn't answer most of the questions from the previous movie. That's all done in another television show.
Yeah.
I would say this is a B.
If you say so.
But is it?
I don't think it is, but you're the one moving the little listy thingies.
I can be persuaded. Did I sound like my heart was really in that?
James, you haven't sounded like your heart's been in it for years. So, who's to say, you know? It's got a good space battle at the start.
It
if I
does. It's got a
recall.
great opening.
It's
yeah.
Christopher Lee gets double beheaded by double lightsabers. That's pretty cool.
pretty
All right,
sick.
keep it there. Keep it there.
All right, yeah.
All right.
Two men screaming at each other on the edge of a volcano.
Yeah, that's
one of
pretty
them's
good.
on fire.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I like how they go from, oh, Anakin, to, oh, Anakin. At the start, he's like, oh, Anakin. And they, oh, Anakin. You know what I mean? It's an arc. It's an emotional arc. And I think that's beautiful.
Let's do The Force Unleashed. The video game.
Ooh.
I don't think it quite lived up to its potential.
Sure.
In terms of gameplay, but I like the idea of a secret apprentice and the effort they put in. Jimmy Smits is even in it. George Lucas had a
There's Bail Organa.
yeah. George Lucas had a vague hand in it.
Sure.
That's why it's here. I think it's a C, and I wish it was better. The second one is much worse.
Okay.
But just the physics engine and all of that, I feel like the lightsaber combat feels like hitting people with a glowing stick.
Oh, well, that's no
Which
good.
I don't like.
Have they ever
I
gotten
like
that
Starkiller,
really
though.
right?
I think the latest Jedi Fallen Order in particular does a really good job of it.
Yeah.
Also, there's like the Jedi Knight games and
Yeah. You
varying
do get to
degrees.
use the Force to fling a bunch of Wookiees off a cliff.
That's Darth Vader. That is true. Is this a B then?
It might be a B. For wanton Wookiee murder.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Now let's talk about the Clone Wars, both the animated movie and series. Now, I haven't seen all of this.
Yep.
Because I keep hearing the first 3 seasons, it's a bit of a chore. So I've kind of put it off. But I have seen the finale in bits and pieces and various arcs, which I have enjoyed.
Yeah.
I think that movie is pretty terrible. Because it's also like 3 episodes mashed together. And again, I tried to get through it, but like I found it slow to start.
I'm staying out of this. I've
Yeah,
seen
but-
people are well aware of how many episodes I've seen of this show because they've all been made into videos on this channel.
Yep.
That's the sum total of all the Clone Wars stuff I've seen.
Yep.
I didn't like any of it.
Okay. I think, though, it's still an A.
Okay then.
From the good stuff that I've seen.
Good. That'll cover our backs.
God, thank God. Now, there's a few things that we've missed. We don't have to rank these, but just to mention them, there was a Droids and Ewoks animated series.
Hated it.
Yeah, fair enough. There's a couple of novels which...
We're not going to rank it, but you know where we'd put it.
we did videos on some of those things. There's a couple of novels, or a fair few novels that George Lucas, we know had a hand in. There's The Courtship of Princess Leia, which is about Han Solo and Princess Leia getting married. And I think he kidnaps her at the start, which is classic rogue behavior.
Absolutely.
Apparently also this is a novel that George Lucas likes and all of that and whatever. So there's that. There's Labyrinth of Evil, which is a prequel to Revenge of the Sith, the book. They flow into each other, and I've read that, and George Lucas had a big hand in that, and like, the character's like this, and this is why Anakin is like this, etc. But I think if we had to rank something, like one more thing, George Lucas's potential sequel trilogy, which at one point he was going to make, and was thrown out by Disney for the most part. There were some things that did make it over, like the Hermit Luke Skywalker, that's from George Lucas. So I mean, where do you put the potential George Lucas sequel trilogy?
You put it in S.
It's got, because it would be the best, right?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
It's Schrodinger's George Lucas's Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Anyways, if you got any thoughts on any of this, feel free to leave them below. Contentious topic, Star Wars.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think everybody's even keeled about it.
Yeah, you might be right. Anyways, if you like this, thank you. Wow, that actually means a lot. But also you can support us over at bigsandwich.co, where it's like our Patreon.
That's
There's
right.
bonus movie commentaries. There's video game Let's Plays.
There's bonus podcasts.
Oh my God, there's so much stuff there, isn't there?
So much stuff.
Some of it is Star Wars related.
Bit of it is Star Wars
It
related.
is Star Wars related. Yeah. That would help us out greatly. Also, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. That comes out Monday, Sunday at bigsandwich.co if you want to check it out.
There's also a bunch of other Star Wars videos on this channel.
We mentioned some, but not all of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
What about that time we played that Star Wars NES game?
That was a good game.
It's a good game, good time. It's got a satisfying emotional arc to it, I think.
It really does. Check it out. All right, thanks everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.